We are digging deeper now into the police response to that shooting. The window of time when the suspect was allowed to stay in the classroom as police stood in the hallway. ABC 10's Brandon Ritterman has covered a number of mass shootings. He joins us now live in the newsroom. And Brandon, police admitting they made the wrong decision.
Yeah, and let's be clear at the start here, what went wrong in the beginning is this young man committed unspeakable acts of violence in the first place. But then we have more going wrong with the police response, Chris. We've explained this goes back 23 years ago to Columbine, when police had to learn the hard way. You do not wait for the SWAT team to come when you've got an active shooter. Instead, you go in and you put down the shooter immediately, even when you're outgunned. And that's harrowing, but it's what police sign up to do. In Texas, though, the police failed to treat the man in Uvalde as an active shooter at all. Police responded to Robb Elementary and started treating it as an active shooter. But then their leader made a call.
The decision was made that this was a barricaded subject.
In so many words, a standoff. That was the wrong call, according to Texas State Police.
There were children in that classroom that were at risk, and it was, in fact, still an active shooter situation and not a barricaded subject.
I've seen incidents where you'll negotiate with a barricaded subject for days.
Former Sacramento Police Chief Daniel Hahn says a barricaded subject basically means two things. The person's behind cover and they're not hurting people.
There's no harm in just sitting here for 2 days and talking to the person and try to get him or her to willingly come out. That changes when the person is actively harming people, shooting at people, like in this situation at the school.
It raises tough questions for the officers and their commander, the chief of school police.
He was convinced at the time that there was no more threat to the children.
At the time, during the 1 hour gap, kids did call 911 from inside the classroom. They begged police to come in. They told dispatchers the man had killed people. So the key question is, did the officers at the school know or believe that people were being hurt?
Right. And if they didn't, why didn't they?
Did they not get the 911 information, or could they not hear with their own ears that there were people wailing in pain? That kind of thing.
Right. Or hear the rounds going off and knowing there's kids still in the school somewhere. That was a mistake that they basically said they should have gone in. So now the question is, well, why didn't they? That's a really unimaginable conversation you'd have to have with parents.
Unimaginable, but crucial to learn what went wrong in the response. But it's also important not to let the botched response be the whole story.
The fear I have is that we stop with just this, as opposed to working and studying things that maybe could have prevented this suspect from coming to the school in the first place.
This is a disastrous case of history repeating itself in more ways than one. You got the bungled response, to be sure, but also the fact that these mass killings just seem to keep happening. And that is a failure a whole lot bigger than Texas, Chris.
So true. Your heart just breaks for all those families when you add insult to injury with this news today. Brandon, we thank you, sir.